illnesses, realize you can still lead a healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one that you had envisioned for yourself. But you know what? The time is going to pass regardless. I got to tell you guys, I'm a little bummed because this is the second time I've done this video tonight. I'm still really new with the software and I did not look. It's got a little window right here and it shows me um, when my social media is connected, but my social media was all disconnected and I just didn't. I'm still learning this. I'm still learning software, so I didn't notice. So dang it. And I did such a good job the first time. So let's see if I can wrap it up really well for take two. Owning your BS. This topic really came to mind today because I had a meeting with my mentor. I have like seriously the most amazing mentor. I think the world of him. Um, we've worked together and through accountability groups for about 3 years, and he's really helped me with a lot of stuff. But called him, I texted him the other day, and I'm like, "Hey, I need to talk. I got a problem. We need to talk. I can't seem to get my shit together." So, we talked, and what it all boils down to is I'm not owning my BS enough. By the way, you know how you have a good mentor? If they can be really honest with you. He wasn't hurtful, but he just told me this is where it's at. You're stuck. You need to figure out why you refuse to move forward. I've known you for too long. You are too talented, you are too smart. You have so much to offer and you are stuck. So I do have to look closer at my BS. So how in the hell do you own your BS? Um I'll tell you how. This information is from a really good book called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Here's one of my favorite quotes from Albert Einstein. I just think this is great. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a persistent one. Then Jen Sincero says, what you choose to focus on becomes your reality. It's the truth. What we focus on does become our reality. So you better figure out what your BS is and how to fix it. So, what is your BS? What kind of BS are you telling yourself? One of my favorites, some people say, "Oh," and the way that some people will sneer at money. Like, money's so bad. Money's not bad. Money's an inanimate object. Money is whatever you choose to make it. Are there people who use their money to do bad things? Certainly. But you know what? There's also a lot of people out there who use their money to do really good work. Money's freedom. That's what, to me, that's what money is. Money's freedom. But what do you tell yourself about money? Another one I like, there's no good men or women left in the whole wide world. Really? Really? All the people on the planet, and there's nobody good of the opposite sex left? BS. You're lying to yourself. You know what mine is? Okay, I got a lot of them. You want to know what mine is that I'm willing to admit here tonight? It's my weight. I I get stuck in the mindset of, oh, I can't lose weight. I've got all these health problems. I can't lose weight. Well, you know what? There's a lot of people who have worse health problems than I do who figure it out. But you know what? You know why we do this? You know why we tell ourselves these stories? Give ourselves the excuse. You know what an excuse is? It's a lie you tell yourself. This is all BS. It's all a bunch of BS. We cling to these things because they serve a purpose. What? They do. May not be a good purpose, but they serve your purpose. But the good news is this stuff is fixable. So let's talk about how you can challenge your reality and create a new life for yourself because it's really doable. Number one, you need to make a list of your BS. Make a list of all the things that you say. Go through, look at your life. Look at the areas where you say things like, well, I can't do that. Why can't you? Really, why can't you? Is there something physically wrong with you that you can't? Like, I can't do a pull-up right now. Does that mean I could never do a pull-up? No. It means at this point I've not chosen to focus my time and attention on that. But I could if I wanted to. There's very few things that you truly can't do. I always screw up. Really? Always? No, you don't. But watch for those things. Watch for, oh, I really should do that. Then do it. What are you waiting for? As my mentor would say, don't should all over yourself. You tell yourself, I can't. I'm no good at that. Well, then no, you can't. And if you're not good at something, then work on it. Practice, get better. Look, there's very few people who have truly an innate skill to do something. I always get irritated when I hear people talk about, oh my gosh, they're an overnight success. No, they aren't. No, they aren't. There was a lot of work that went in on the background to get them to where they are. You may not have seen it all. They may not have been in the public eye the whole time. Hell, they probably weren't. A friend of mine argued with me on that point one day, and she said, no, what about tech billionaires? I said, they still had to learn computers, they still had to put in the time to understand how all that stuff works, or they wouldn't be where they are. You need to let go of that idea of an overnight success. Don't, oh God, I really want to, then do it. If you really want something, don't say, I want it. Say, I will do this. I can do this. Oh, I don't have the time. You have 24 hours. If it's something that really does mean anything to you, you're going to make time for it. That's just a fact. We make time for the things and the people that are important to us. It's that simple. One day I'll, no, you won't. I'm the queen of one day aisle. No, you won't. As soon as you start that crap, you've given yourself your out. You've already admitted to yourself you don't really want it bad enough. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. That's a level of honesty that a lot of people never achieve. So, if that's where you're at, accept it. Oh, I'll try to. I, okay. I'm not real proud of it, but I use my health issues as a reason to get out of like anything. Nobody will push me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try to come to your party. No, I won't. You know damned well as soon as someone tells you they're going to try to come over, they're not going to come over. They already gave themselves an out. So you need to write all this stuff down. All of your woulds or all of your shoulds and nevers and can'ts. Write it all down. Now, here's the challenging part. You need to look at all this stuff and figure out what the benefit is for you, because there is a benefit. You may not like looking, you may not like the look, you may not like what you see, but you're getting a benefit. For example, people who say, well, I can't find a relationship. You get to keep your freedom. You don't have to risk getting hurt. And you get all your, you get to whine and garner sympathy. Oh, poor pitiful me. I'm so lonely. And all your friends are like, oh, but you're so amazing. And you probably are amazing. But there's some reason why you don't want to find a good relationship. You're focused. Look, if all you focus on is, well, there's no good men or women left in the world, then you know what? You are never going to find a good person, because what you focus on becomes your reality. Because when you're focused on that, that's all you're going to see. Think about like when you get a new car and all of a sudden after you get the car, you see it everywhere in town. Like, oh my God, did I start a craze? No, you didn't start a craze. You're just more aware of it now. For me, with the weight, I get to avoid responsibility. I never wanted to be the girl that couldn't, oh, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. And I know where that comes from. I used to not know where that came from, but I do know where that comes from. I was the most picky ass eater as a child. I drove everybody around me absolutely crazy. And my only saving grace when the family would fuss at me, you're so picky. I have a cousin who's worse. And I'm not proud of it, but I would throw her under the bus every time. Well, she's worse. Yeah, that's not saying a lot. But I never wanted to be that. I never want to be that person. But you know what? If I eat like I'm supposed to eat, it's a pretty strict eating protocol. I'm sorry, I can't eat that. I've never wanted to be that person. But I'm either going to be that person or I'm going to continue down the path of having health problems and weight issues. And by the way, I don't mean just like giving up Snickers bars. I mean like autoimmune paleo is so freaking restrictive. But anyway, I do get a benefit from it. Okay, this is going to sound weird. And I'm going to be real honest. This is hard for me to admit. I talked about it the first time through the video, and I really think it's something important for people to consider. My weight serves a lot of purpose for me in the sense of it shields me from male attention. When I was young, I had a really nice figure. And when I was young, and it's not that these not I'm not at all saying that there's a correlation here, but I put myself into some really bad situations and I've seen some things that are really ugly about life. And it's easier for me emotionally to hide behind the weight because men don't pay attention to fat girls like they do thin girls. They just don't. Sorry, it's a fact. I know because I've been there. I've been on pretty much both sides of that spectrum, but it does serve my purpose to a large degree. And I have to accept that. I have to own that, or I'm never going to be able to get past it. So you've written down your list of nevers, can'ts, shoulds, whatever. And you've gone through and you've journaled and you've figured out what your benefit is. Now you need to go back through that. You need to look it all over. And you need to think, what would my life be like if I could fix this? And I got to tell you, when I was talking to my mentor earlier, and he was like, you're stuck. He's right. And part of the reason that he's right, he asked me, and I reminded him of this. He asked me a couple years ago, have you ever thought about what your life would look like if you were healthy? No, I hadn't. And I told him, it's really hard because I read these books about people who overcame a lot of the chronic illness things that I'm dealing with. And they're all the authors very passionate. I wanted my old life back. I don't want my old life back. I was a really unhappy person. I had absolutely no confidence. I don't want to be that person. I was angry. I was bitter. I was bitchy. I don't want to go back to that. And I'm stuck. I'm stuck standing on the edge and going, oh, well, but this is what I know. Look, the thing you need to understand about your comfort zone is it's not necessarily a good place. It just means it's something that's comfortable and familiar. Comfortable and familiar, they don't mean healthy. They don't mean happy. But you want to know why it's so hard to make changes? Because your brain, your scared ego, your scared inner child doesn't want the changes. It's scary. And there's a big part of you that's like, hey, well, hold up there, sister. Maybe things aren't exactly where you thought they would be, but you've made it to this point. That's why you have a lot of internal resistance to change. Your brain's just like, whoa, hold up. And honestly, there's a part of you, if you really want to make changes, there's parts of you that are going to have to kind of die off. And they don't want to do that. It gets really trippy. Doing this work is really trippy. But you need to look at all this stuff. You need to, I guess you don't need to figure it out. You can continue on as you are. And if you're happy, that's fantastic. But if you're not, what the hell are you waiting for? Truly, what are you waiting for? You need to take each of your excuses. You need to see them for what they are, which is BS. And they are just BS. You need to reframe all the crap you're telling yourself. You need to reframe it into something positive. Instead of, I get to feel victimized by this. You can say, I get to conquer this shit. I get to be triumphant here. I can do this. But you've got to do the work. You know why everybody's not happy? Because not everybody wants to do this work. I will tell you, I'm very fortunate in my life. I have met a lot. I would say I've met at least 10 self-made millionaires. Y'all, I live in a tiny town in the middle of freaking nowhere. One of the people I know is here in town. Everyone else is all around the country. They're all self-made. And you know what? Every one of them credits doing this kind of work. Every single one of them without fail. But you know what? You got to get a move on because none of us are getting any younger. And you don't know how much time you have left. And do you really? If you're happy, again, that's fantastic, good for you, but if you're looking around and you're not real happy with your life, is this really where you want your journey to end? That the time's gonna pass. You may as well pick up, as Jordan Peterson likes to say, life's a struggle, choose your struggle. If you choose your struggle, it gives you a lot more control over it. You have to quit wasting your time. You have to quit wasting your life. You have to believe. You have to just know, very fiber of your being, that you are no longer ruled by your past. Look, I've there's a lot of shit in my past I am not proud of. But all of those experiences, even the ones where, I mean, they were just horrific. All of those experiences, they made me into the person I am today. And you know what? I like who I am today. Am I perfect? Hell no. I wouldn't even want to be. That's an ideal I would never try to pursue because I'm smart enough to know that's impossible. But I can sure be a lot better than I am. I can't do that if I let my past run my life. I'm not that person anymore. It's funny when I look back, even 10, 15 years ago, hell, even 3, 4 years ago, I was so different than I am now. It's such a trip. And when you go back far enough, I mean, it's like, seriously, if I didn't know I was the same person, I would swear I was a complete stranger. The behaviors, the attitudes, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. But there's a reason why I'm gonna flub this terribly, so I don't have it written down, but there's a great quote about, there's a reason why our windshield is so much larger than our rear view mirror, because where you're going is so much more important than where you've been. You have to let go of your past. You have to find a way to move on. And look, if you're having a hard time forgiving yourself for the things that you did, this is what helped me. I had a counselor tell me, and it seriously, it's so simple, but it was really profound, and I still pull this up often. I probably heard this 5, 6 years ago. You can't be too hard on yourself for the way that you coped with things in the past, because you were just doing the best that you could with the skill set that you had available. Maybe your skills sucked, but you know what? You can work on all that. You can fix all that. And finally, if you want to own your BS, you have to love yourself enough to give up the lies, the comfortable lies that you're telling yourself. You have to love yourself enough to take that hard look in the mirror and to start really looking at yourself and why you do a lot of the things that you do. You know what I just figured out? I just figured out a lot of the BS that I drag around, I really thought until today, as a matter, well, no, yesterday, I really thought I was very in touch with my past and why I'm the way I am. But I realized a lot of the crap that I drag around that burdens me, it's not even mine. It's crap that other people handed me. And for whatever reason, I chose to pick it up and carry that load. Don't do that to yourself. You have to love yourself enough to take that look at yourself. You have to do the work. It's not easy. It is not fun, but it's really worth it. It's so worth it. And you just got to believe. You got to find a spark somewhere in there that believes in you, because you're a good person or you wouldn't be here. Anyway, my first take was way better, but I think this one got out to my social media. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Um, Look, I'm not an expert, but if you're down in the dumps and you don't know where to start, and you want to look, lady, I hear you, but how do I do this? Drop me a line on Twitter at Alaskan Courtney. I try to be really responsive. I'll be more than happy to share with you some of the resources that made a huge difference for me. And you know what? I understand. You may not be ready to make an investment in yourself. I have no product, by the way. I have no product for sale at this point. I have no skin in this game. I am just telling you, I know where you are. I've been there. Drop me a line. I'll share with you some great free resources to help you get started. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. I can give you all the resources in the world. I could send the most incredible expert to sit down with you for a full week. If you're not ready, it's not going to matter. If you don't have an open heart and a teachable attitude, it's not going to matter. And if you're not there yet, don't beat yourself up. Just start where you are. Start small. Do whatever you got to do. Baby steps are still steps. Slow progress is still progress, and it will build compound interest, man. It'll build over time. Anyway, you guys have a great weekend. I will be back Monday at 5 o'clock Alaska time. Thank you. Good night.